G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for watching the Wildkard Rugby Show. Like, comment, and subscribe. And yes, you are here today because it's Super Rugby quarterfinals. It's the Hurricanes versus the Melbourne Rebels. I know. Yes, so this could be the last game for the Melbourne Rebels. And next year, there's might be a chance for a British and Irish Lions game because that is kind of like contracted. So there might be like an amateur team play in that. But at the moment, Rugby Australia has declined to continue the license with the current management that is trying to be rescued by their own friends under the guise of a consortium. I think it's absolutely the right decision by Rugby Australia to decline the license because it's literally the same people that wasted all the resources that was poured into the Melbourne Rebels over the years, and they do not get another shot to waste more resources, more money from Rugby Australia, more money from all the fans to go, to keep running the game, the team into the ground. So I think that's the right decision. We are going to, I think in the future, at some point, Rugby Australia will revive another team in Melbourne. So that is definitely going to happen. I don't think, they're just going to give up on the opportunity over such a huge city and such a huge market. And I just think that they have to find the right operators in Melbourne and they'll be able to, bring another team back. So it's definitely not the end of rugby in Melbourne. It'll be back at some point under the right management, under the right guys, maybe even under the same brand, the Melbourne Rebels. So there will be a little bit of a gap, but hey, for now, this will be the last game for the Melbourne Rebels. I am someone of a very long Melbourne Rebels fan, right? You probably don't know this, right? This is how much I love the Rebels. Well, I don't love the Rebels. This is how much I supported the Rebels, right? I used to stay about 4 o'clock in the morning watching the Rebels lose to the Cats, right? To see Quade Cooper. And, they had, exactly. Quade Cooper used to play for the Melbourne Rebels, believe it or not. And that's how much talent has been slipped through the Melbourne Rebels over the years and just completely wasted. And, and I remember, this is something that you should never do, okay? I've learned this lesson the hard way. Never take a date to the Melbourne Rebels game, okay? That's what I did, and it did not go well, okay? I'm not joking. So, big mistake for my part. And, I thought I was going to be an easy, happy day for me. I don't know why. But yes, don't ever take a day to the Melbourne Rebels game. And luckily, that's never going to happen to anybody anymore. So my pain and suffering will never... I'm grateful that my pain and suffering will never be inflicted onto anybody else ever again. Okay, so anyway, that's just a little bit of a rant for me about the Melbourne Rebels. But hey, let's talk about this game. Let's talk about the quarterfinal. The Hurricanes has... put on pretty big number on the Rebels, 47 points to 20. But believe it or not, it took the Hurricanes 25 minutes to actually get a try on the board. They were pounding the Rebels for 25 minutes straight and not able to get any tries. And the Hurricanes were pretty persistent, not going for the 3 points. Plenty of opportunities to get themselves, the scoreboard ticking, especially if the Rebels were happy to take the points, having the early lead as well because of that. And eventually, the Rebels... Like I always kind of talk about this, the fatigue build up, eventually, if you don't play rugby, you can't win, right? And I think the Rebels' strategy was, on paper, pretty sound. They wanted to pressure the breakdowns, which was resulting in a lot of turnovers, a lot of, penalties out of that, and really good defensive effort as well. So that's actually sound on paper, but that's only half of the playbook. The other half of the playbook did not exist, right? It was just a blank page that's been handed out to everyone. And then it was just literally, you can't win rugby games if you don't have anything else other than kicking for penalties when you get an opportunity. Literally, the Melbourne Rebels was under the pumps for for about 8 minutes. Finally got inside the Hurricanes half, got a penalty, and then immediately went, let's take 3, guys. Let's take 3, and let's not play any rugby, any offense, put any pressure at all onto the opposition. And sure enough, Hurricanes like, all right, we're happy to continue bashing you up against your try line and see how long you can hold. And the Melbourne Rebels really just copped it, you're right? And then all the way to maybe about 10 minutes left in the game, the Rebels finally decided that they have to play rugby to actually win a rugby game. And then, to their credit, they actually scored a couple of quick tries at the end. And, it was too little too late. You can't just come into a rugby game and expect to not play rugby and just hand the opportunity to apply pressure to the opposition constantly. And I think that was the issue there for the Melbourne Rebels. If they had taking the opportunity to build some pressure into the Hurricanes, build some fatigue into the Hurricanes defense, and then taking the 3 points, I think would have been a much better outcome for them. And it's going to take a lot of the edge out of the Hurricanes attack, right? Because they're tired from defending. Whereas if you just go in and Hurricanes defense did literally nothing, and it's like, all right, guys, let's start belting the try line again with all our fresh legs. And just really wasn't that great. Outside of that, I thought maybe the Rebels could also target a Godfrey a little bit. It did look like early in the game they were targeting Godfrey, the fullback, who's taking Ruben Love's taking a break. So I thought Rebels would have, not Godfrey. And then it was like, they almost targeted a little bit, and then it was looking like there could have been something to exploit, but the Rebels just didn't really stick to it as well. And outside of that, I thought, the overall, in terms of set piece, Tupou looked pretty good in scrimmaging early in the game, but the Rebels kind of just fell apart, again, with the reserves coming off, not really quite doing the same amount of damage as the Hurricanes reserves. For the Hurricanes, 3 outstanding performances tonight. One is Jordie Barrett. He started pretty slow in this game, and it's kind of like, what are you doing, Jordie? Are you you're like having a bit of a bad day today? And then he just like championship quality that he is, pulled the team together before halftime, setting up try before halftime, the second try, and then coming out the second half immediately, pummeling himself through a line break, setting Yossi up for another try, and really just extending the lead beyond reach for the Rebels. And just from that burst of energy, capitalizing on that little bit of a mental slippage from the Melbourne side, and he was able to capitalize. And that's the quality of a championship player from Jordie Barrett. And Safa Almora, once again, I think there's a black jersey waiting for this guy. He just pummeling everybody through. Absolutely incredible player. Scored a try today, and every time he carried the ball, he went over the advantage line. Just really good to see. And also Peter Larkai showed that he's not just the guy that works around the breakdowns, making his tackles. His handling, being able to pick the right passing options as the first receiver out of the 7 jersey. Really impressive, and really good handling, and just those little skills in the 4-pack. It's really beautiful to see. And so that's pretty much my assessment of the game. When it comes to the scoreboard, you can look at this. It's pretty brutal. 667 run meters to the Melbourne Rebels, 220. So like I said, if you don't play rugby, how are you expecting to win? I reckon about 150 meters were ran in the last 5 minutes, within the last 10 minutes when the Melbourne Rebels score those bursts of tries. Outside of that, they were just happy to not play rugby. And that's just not going to work. Really just not going to work. 14 turnovers conceded against the Hurricanes, 14 against the Rebels. Like I said, they had that game plan. Half the game plan worked out. It's the targeted turnovers, which was really good, and they just didn't have anything to follow up, and just happened to take 3. 84 tackles made by the Hurricanes, 12 missed tackles, 34 missed tackles out of 148. When you're getting rammed down your throat, it's pretty hard to keep that missed tackle count down. 70 kicks in play for the Hurricanes, 21 for Melbourne Rebels, 1 missed conversion by the Hurricanes, 100% by Carter Gordon. And here's another area I thought that maybe the Rebels could have targeted a little bit more. Hurricanes had 5 missed lineouts. Oh, my goodness. And, if the Rebels had put a bit more smarter game plan together and tried to target that, that lineout pressure, maybe could have gotten, something that they could have probably worked at as a key area to leverage upon, but they really didn't able to do that in the game. 1 lineout loss for the Rebels, 6 scrums. I thought the scrums were really good for Daniela Tupou, especially early in the first half. And really, again, Rebels wasn't able to leverage that into anything of value other than exiting themselves, and maybe I think they might have one for a 3-pointer. Not really able to put sustained pressure as a result of that. 1 scrum loss against Rebels in the second half. The reserves were on the field. Don't know why they went for the scrum option when you don't have the Tupou on the field. And maybe, again, it's almost like the coaching staff just issued a playbook that didn't really work across the board with all the players that was available in the matchup they were up against, right? I mean, if it's Tupou, sure. Second half, when you have your reserves on, and this is because they had a short on penalty and then opted for the scrum. Yeah, should not have done that in front of their own try line as well. 6 penalties conceded against the Hurricanes. Was it from the try line? But it was, yeah, they opted for scrum instead of when they shouldn't have done so in that opposite situation. 6 penalty conceded in both teams, and here's something that, you know, if you're the coaching staff, you probably were banking on more penalties conceded by the Hurricanes. But yeah, Hurricanes, I think in the season do have a pretty high penalty conceded, like double digit usually. So it's actually not too out of the conceivable strategy to try to capitalize on that penalty count against the Hurricanes, but it just really didn't pay off for them this game. The Hurricanes stayed disciplined, and also a lot of the penalties were conceded by the Hurricanes because of the pressure, something that the Melbourne Rebels did not apply, and you're not gonna get and that's why Hurricanes only walked away with 6 penalties. It's just simple as that. They would have given it a lot more if you actually put more pressure on. And yeah, so anyway, let's have a quick recap on what happened in this game. Yeah, like Hurricanes were pumping the Rebels for like the first 8 minutes or so. Rebels finally got themselves inside the Hurricanes 50. Let's kick for 3. Beautiful kick by Carter Gordon, 3 points to 0. And at this point, Scrum is showing a lot of dominance out of Tupou. 19 minutes, Osafa Amoa was held over the try line. My goodness, that was such a huge effort from him. 22 minutes into the game, there was a 50-22 kick by the new fullback. Good Godfrey, which was really good. Just landed inside the line. 25 minutes into the game, finally, after just pretty much brutal 25 minutes of crashing the ball against the Rebels defense and getting held up a couple times, Tossi was able to get a nice short pass from TJ Piranava from a quick ball off the breakdown. There was a penalty before I saw they went for the more, got a penalty advantage, and then just build crash balls, and Tossi went over for the big boy try. 27 minutes into the game, there was right from this try was scored, there was a kickoff, and then Andrew Callaway was challenging the ball. He got taken out of the air by Godfrey. Immediately, Rebels like, guys, let's not play any rugby at all. Take the 3 points. Albeit 6 points to 7 may look good on the scoreboard, but again, the pressure is straight back against the Rebels under the pump. Absolutely no relief. So the Hurricanes proceeded to pound the Rebels. 37 minutes into the game, Riasi made a nice line break, and he was running down the field, saw Morby out wide. He kicked the ball down to Morby a little bit too much, and the ball bounced out of bounds. And almost got that one. But eventually, just before halftime, 6-7, scoreboard just didn't look good enough for the Hurricanes. And it was obviously the big man, Jordie Barrett, having a pretty lackluster, I think, a bit quiet game in the first half up to this point. Really just straightened up his running, went through a bunch of couple defenders. Nice little pass, and the ball went over the top to Morby, and then he crashed into the corner. Try time. 14 points to 6, getting the Hurricanes that lead that they probably deserved going into halftime. 3 minutes of the second half, a line-out was stolen against the Rebels, and then immediately, again, Jordie Barrett just crashing through the center field, making a little half break, and then just nice. He probably could have scored it himself, and just nice little pop to to Ilse, running for the try. 21 points to 7, and then finally, 51 minutes into the game, the Rebels was like, well, we have to play rugby at some point. They got the penalty. They went for the line out. They pressured the try line. Didn't quite get the results they wanted. Desperation causes your team to make errors. They had a line out. They tried to go for the second attempt. They dropped the ball inside the maul. Yeah, just pressure building, and you're not able to, do that for 50 minutes. Suddenly you're asking all the players to take a step up, and especially at this point, some of the core players are starting to come off the field. Your best players are coming off the field. Your reserves are coming on. You're not actually having that power anymore to potentially get that more try anymore. Really bad decision. So should have done this earlier, and really just I do congratulate them for their attempt. 53 minutes of the game. Finally, the big boy, Osafa Aomoa, got the Hurricanes was inside the 22. Nice little switch of the attack point, back to the, I think it was back to the blind side, and then Amoa just crashed straight through through the center field. Yes, Peter Larkai got the ball, inside ball. Amura through a gap, pummeled himself through. Beautiful try. 28 points to 6. 57 minutes into the game. Another crash ball from Amura. Just a bunch of players was crashing the ball through, but this one just before the try score, a big crash ball from Amura getting over the advantage line. The TJ Perenara picked and go, and just immediately spotting a gap, feeding the ball to his ball runner. That is Flanders, straight through, try time, 35 points to 6. And 65 minutes into the game final, the Rebels is able to get themselves a little bit of attacking. So they were able to spread the ball, utilizing the width of the field a little bit more at this point. They just got Leota was out wide getting the ball. He found a bit of a gap, a nice little offload to Lockie Anderson. He still had to run like 20 meters or something, had a player on him, but he was able to bump himself through for the try, 35 points to 13. And then immediately after this, Rebels scored again, all the way from 50 meters out, just utilizing the width of the field a little bit with a bit of attack. Carter Gordon was able to, there was a nice little line break down the sideline, and then the ball, there was a breakdown about, maybe 10 meters short. Carter Gordon, followed up his own little play, picked up the ball, and just nice quick pop to the little short side. And Lockie Anderson again rammed himself through, 35 points to 20. And then it was looking like maybe the Rebels has a chance to pull out a miracle. Still 10 minutes, and you 2 tries and 1 point down. But no, Hurricanes regather the situation. They had a penalty. They went for the line out, didn't kick for the goals, went for the line out. And the bench power in Karefi came on. Just, really nice. There was a line out. Karefi had the ball, ran through the moor a little bit, and then another just pick and go. He looked like it's a double movement. Justin Marshall said it was double movement. I think it might be double movement as well. Got the try anyway. 42 points to 20. And and that was it. That was the last try. And that was the end of the game. 77 minutes. It looked like Naholo may have scored. Sorry. Karefi didn't do the double movement. It was Naholo that did the double movement. Karefi was fine. 75 minutes again. A short line out for the penalty for the Hurricanes. They just crashed the ball, pick and go, got really close to the try line, and Naholo looked like he bumped himself through double movement, but referee said it was fine. So that's it. 47 points to 20, easy win for the Hurricanes. And let me know your thoughts about this game. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm sure Melbourne Rebels will be back, so I'm not too worried about that. And thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next for the Blues match. Cheers.